in almost every interview and talks that I've been giving for the last 3.5 years, I've been talking about mentorship and how it is, how it added to our company and etc. and all. And Ashish caught me on that. He said, you have to talk about mentoring in the event today. So I have one slide presentation which talks about mentoring and how we benefited from it. And after that, we'll take questions on that. Okay. Okay, this is a company snapshot. Since most of you know about redbus, I'll skip most of the details there. But for some people who have not raised your hands, we are a 3.5 years old company. We are the largest in selling bus tickets in the country. We manage about 10,000 schedules a day in about 15 states, about 700 operators, 75,000 point of sale outlets, and growing about 6 times. I mean, that's the claim to fame. Everybody is interested in our story because of the last point, that we are growing almost 6 times year on year. And the important thing that most people do not know about redbus is actually we have 2 other brands, the ones there, the Boss and the Seat Seller, right? Our company is Pilani Soft Labs, and we have 3 products internally. One is redbus.in, which is a consumer-facing bus ticketing company, so everybody knows about it. The other thing is BOSS. It stands for Bus Operator Software Services. What we do is we give software as a service to bus operators, and they use our software to manage their inventory, because of which we get inventory feed into our redbus thing. Okay, the third product, Seat Seller, that's the product actually which sells seats. So that is born more as an opportunity which was there, so we wanted to utilize that, not as a product that we thought of long back. What Seat Seller does is, now that we have access to a lot of inventory and we are selling on our own site, a lot of others who said, okay, even we want to get into this business, we want to start selling bus tickets on our site, etc. And they were going and partnering with bus operators, and there were like 700 of them in 15 states, so it was impossible for them to ramp up inventory in that short period of time, especially when they were not using software. So what we did is we said, okay, we have inventory, we'll share it with you, and through a product, and we'll share it with you from redbus. Whatever is displayed on redbus can also be displayed on, let's say, Make My Trip, Yatra, Clear Trip, any one of those sites, and we can be competing on the front end, whereas back end is all powered by us. And they didn't want to show powered by redbus on the tickets there because it's a competition, so we had to come up with a new name. It's called Seat Seller. So Seat Seller today almost powers all the organized bus ticketing in the country, be it a cyber cafe, post offices, Bangalore One outlets, mobile phones, on mobile, any of the names that we have heard of who are selling bus tickets, Seat Seller powers them all. Okay, that's about our company. So this is the slide that I'm going to talk about today on being mentored. Okay, the first one is who needs mentors? I think almost everybody needs mentors, be entrepreneur, not be an entrepreneur, anything and everything. Everybody needs a mentor. See, all of us have gathered here to share ideas and discuss. That's because we want to know something that we don't know. And mentor is somebody who tells us what we don't know, and he carries forward the context. So every time we don't have to say, I'm 3.5 years old, I'm selling so much, I have Seat Seller, I have Boss and all that, right? So every time you can just go and ask questions, because he carries the context forward, and you can talk to him all through your life cycle. We've seen mentors in our company. So when we work, we always put one manager's name up and say, okay, this is a guy who's really shaped my career, right? Or when we are studying, we take up one instructor's name and say, this is the instructor who's like really shaped my student career and things like that. So always we've had mentors, and it's nothing different when we do entrepreneurship, when we are an entrepreneur. Okay, so where do we find mentors? I'll tell you where we found mentors. When we were thinking of this idea, how many of you know the Diwali story? Oh, okay. So there's this Diwali story because of which we had to start this. We didn't get tickets during Diwali, and we realized how complex the whole system is the bus ticketing system. So we said, okay, the easiest way is to provide software to them and organize the whole stuff. So that's how we started. So that's the only thing that we had. And before that, we were engineers, and we were very happy engineers. Like other co-founders, they had patents and they were doing really well. I'm a little managerial type, so I became a team lead, and I was very happy doing that. I had a small team, things like that. So we were very happy doing that. Just because of Diwali story, we said, okay, let's create the software and give it to operators. And initially the thought was, okay, we'll do it as a non-profit organization. I was involved in non-profit thing, for our alumni thing and all that. Then I said, okay, it was very difficult raising funds, but everybody would give in kind. So we said, there's so many engineers, let's create the software and give it, and all the profits would get into this, etc. and all that. So that was the idea, and we started it doing part-time. And before we realized it became a commercial thing, we ended up raising fund, and everything else is what you see today. So when we started this, engineers jumped into this thing and really didn't know how to start, where to start, what is company, what is a limited company, where do we get it registered, who is a chartered accountant, who is a VC. We didn't even know who VCs. There are people called VCs who will invest in your business and all that stuff. So during that time, TIE had called for business plans. They said, okay, whoever gets selected in this business plan, we'll mentor them. And that's the only thing they said. They never said, whoever gets selected, will invest tons of money and etc., etc. So that really appealed to us. So we said, okay, we'll get somebody who will guide us through all this stuff. So we went there, presented our thing. We were amongst the first batch who presented. Today, they have a regular mentoring sessions and etc. And there, our idea was liked by them, and then they gave 3 mentors. That's how we found the first mentors, and they've really helped us in every step, every stage in growing the business. Where do others find mentors? Today there are a lot of organizations, like you can go to NEN, you can go to TIE, Wadhwani Foundation, a lot of other Endeavor, or even walking into any of your managers and ask them to be your mentors for a while and things like that. Today a lot of people are open, a lot of people coming back from the US who've been entrepreneurs there, willing to help. People like Sanju Bigchandani, who's like made it all, he is also ready to offer mentoring and all that. Okay, so who is the right mentor? Okay, the way I did put up this presentation is I was just internally going through what are the questions that you might have, and just put the questions there, and I'm trying to answer. So as soon as I finish this, we'll continue this questioning. If you have any questions outside this, you can ask me and I'll try to answer them. Okay, who's the right mentor? What I believe is anybody and everybody cannot be a mentor for the life cycle of a company because they are specialists in some areas, and you need all of them. A right mentor, in my opinion, is a person who is who's seen a life cycle of a company, who's seen from the beginning till the end, and who's seen it repeatedly, at least 2 times. Because that will give him an overall picture of what is coming next, what will this company need at what time, what are the decisions and things like that. And if he's done 2-3 companies, then he exactly knows what are he is not put to chance. Like if he's done only 1 company, he's put to chance. Okay, that worked because of various other reasons, but he doesn't really know what are the reasons. So another thing when we are finding a mentor is we need to look at our own specific area. Like, okay, I'm an internet company, I need to necessarily get internet-based entrepreneur to mentor me. Anybody who's seen any kind of company from the beginning to a successful exit or a successful progress can be a mentor. That's what I believe. Okay. Okay, so what do we get from them? To start with, we get a lot of contradiction. You say something, the mentor says something else. Almost every time. Every time you say something, he says something else. And not absolutely every time, it's almost every time. Almost 90% of the times you get a contradiction. And actually I realized that is what we are seeking. Right? See, when you are an engineer, I'm talking about myself. When I was an engineer and got into this business, all I knew about was put a flow chart, do this thing. If you do this, take a decision and go here or there, depending on whatever is there. But business is much more complex. It is dependent on many other functions outside. Some of them you realize, some of them you don't realize. But the good thing is it's not random. It's all defined, but you do not know all the variables that are playing in your context and in your business. So a person who has done that will have that view. Even the sixth sense of his is much, much better than the sixth sense of yours. So if he says, do this, I don't have a reason, but you do this. If you do that, we win. In our particular case, I'll give you some examples where mentors advised helped us. The first thing was, okay, because we didn't get ticket because they were all working out of pen, paper, book, and etc. We said, okay, we'll computerize this thing. So here are bus operators, then there are travel agents, then there is a consumer who is going to travel agent to book a bus ticket, and all this is in an unorganized way, because of which you do not get all the information about all the buses and all the fares and etc. So that was a problem that we were facing. So to sort that out and provide transparency and give all the information to the consumers, the only thing you do is you create a software. The first entry point to you is to go to the bus operator, give him the software. Is that right? Or are you all with me?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the first entry point when you create a software? You don't go to the customer, you don't go to the travel agent, you go to the bus operator and give him the software and make him use the software. Once he uses the software, he'll enforce his travel agents to use that software. And customers anyway, you think almost all customers will love it. So once you have inventory, you can just open up a website yourself and start selling. So that was the logic that anybody will start with to attempt solving this problem, right? So we also did the same thing. We actually wrote the complete software. We even did rounds to the bus operator, said, take this software. Okay, he says, if he says, okay, I don't understand, we'll say, we'll come and sit with you and start selling some tickets for a few days. Or if you don't have money to buy a hardware, I'll give you hardware. Or if you can't pay me, I'll give it to you for free. And all that concepts we are thinking, and we are reading about all the footfalls and eyeballs business. I mean, example, the Yahoos of the world, okay, you get the customers first, then you put advertisements and make money out of it. And that was the era, and that was the business styles that were happening during those days. So even we were thinking those lines, and we were making multiple rounds to these bus operators. The first thing the mentor said, and this was the first advice that we seeked, we said, okay, everything is ready, but we are not selling. So they said, the problem there is people will not buy this thing, and it's a very common thing. We've seen it in multiple businesses. People will not, they have resistance to change, etc., and all that yarn. But and the answer they gave is, you start selling to consumers, because as a consumer you had a problem. So you start a website, start selling to consumers, mimic all the back end, and once consumers starts buying tickets, then you can go back and give the software to the bus operators, do all that stuff. But that was completely contradicting our own foundation. The reason we wanted to start this company is to provide live inventory access to all the tickets in the bus, and complete integration of all the bus operators in one screen. If I am like a travel agent, one website, putting those 2 seats that I have on the website and ask consumers to book, I am no different from a travel agent, right? So it is completely against our thought process, and actually it took a lot of our time and effort to actually start the business that way. We said we would not do it, then they said ABC, XYZ. Ultimately we said, okay, we'll start doing it. And today we exist only because of that decision. There are, after we started, we were the first ones to start this business. After we started, there are like 30 companies doing similar business, and almost all of them have died down today. Even people who have like raised and spent 2-3 times the money that we raised and spent, and we are at least 3.5 years, they're only 2 years. So in 2 years, they spent so much money and they all vanished. So I think the only reason for our survival is that one strategic decision that we took. Everybody else followed that logical thing of going, creating software, giving it to bus operator, give him hardware, software, everything free, and expect him to use the software. That is one advice, and the other advice is there are many advice that we got. For example, we raised second round during recession last year, where everything was collapsing. We went ahead and raised money, and we raised the money at lower valuation, more so because our projections were very conservative. That's again because of the advice. When we are creating a business plan, I knew we would be like, let's say 400-500 crores in 2-3 years. I said, I knew it. That's the growth rate that we've been having. Even if this six times continues, even if this 6 times doesn't continue, let it be a 2 time or 1.5 times, we'll be at 300-400 crores in 3-4 years from now. So why shouldn't I put it there? So mentors again came in and said, please believe in us, have lower projections, etc. ABC, and we did project half of what actually I believed in, and because of that, once the VC sees numbers, he'll calculate half of what we project. So actually it was 25% of what I actually believed, and the valuation definitely suffered. We raised that money, and it has given us at least 4 or 5 times the benefit that we would have or growth rate or whatever we achieved if we didn't raise that money. Again, that's another contradiction, which was beyond my comprehension, which was strange to me. Right? And I was seeing my own stocks or people's stocks in the company becoming quarter of what I actually believed, and actually less than what it was valued a few months back. A few months back we had offers from other people offering this. It was valued at least 70% lower than what we had offers. So I was seeing it all, and then I was thinking, should we trust this mentor, or okay, ho gaya, abhi to business ban gaya. Even I started to understand what business is. So should I just dump him and go ahead, right? But we went with him, and today we are very happy. And there are many other things like, should we bribe, should we not bribe? How do we treat employees? Who do we recruit, not recruit? What fund to raise? Should we partner with somebody? Should we not partner with somebody? Everything, right from how the logo should look. Basically, we had a different logo, small change in font. So, we reached a place where we couldn't take a decision. Then again, Ventus helped even from the smallest thing to the biggest things in our company. Okay. Okay. So the next one is, what is one funda that makes this whole business of mentoring work for entrepreneurs, right? There are many entrepreneurs, even people who have got selected in the next batches of Thai entrepreneurship program. They came to me and said, every time you talk about mentoring and etc. and all. We are also selected by the same medium. We are also being mentored by the same set of people, but we don't get that advice. We don't get anything actually. It's a wastage of time every time we spend time with them. So I think one thing that really helped us, and that will help every entrepreneur who considers mentoring as a main thing, is trust. We have to trust these mentors to the extremes. Even if he says, like the one that we did, right? My company is valued to 30% of what it can actually be valued. And I really didn't need money. I didn't want to raise money in economic recession. Everything was against it, but even then, we just trusted. We knew, and all of us said, even if the mentor asks us to shut down the shop one day, we will shut it down. Because whatever we are today, we are because of whatever it's been. Otherwise, we would have been one of those guys trying to sell software to the bus operator and maybe died in about 12 months of exhaustion, right? So we've always been benefited with that. So please have that one thing. Okay, the big question that everybody asks is, okay, mentors, fine. I think we found the right mentors. So what is that we have to give them? How do we compensate? There is no right number or a right way to compensate. It depends on various other things. But in my experience, most of the mentors that I've come across or I've seen mentoring entrepreneurs, they are never looking at how much compensation are they getting out of it, right? They are happy with whatever you give. They are happy even if you don't give anything, because most of them have achieved something. We are talking about successful entrepreneurs who've seen 2-3 cycles as our mentors, right? So they have enough money and they've done enough. They do not need all that you give them. So whatever, in our case, we've given about 1-2% stake in the company to the mentors. So you could have a similar equation depending on your company, your comfort level, and etc. and give them. But do not carry that thing that mentors will come and they'll ask for 5-10% of my company stake. So should I be prepared for that 5 to 10%? Because most mentors do not ask, do not really depend or look forward to the compensation. Most good mentors. Okay, here's another example on compensation. I also know of one company who wanted one CEO who wanted mentoring from CEO of Coffee Day, right? So he wanted him as a mentor because he is also in the same retail business. Wanted to set up shops everywhere in the country and grow at the same pace, etc. And this was, CEO of Coffee Day is one of the very few people in the country who've done it successfully and done it and etc. and all that. So he desperately needed him as a mentor and only him as a mentor. So the way he reached out to him is he leveraged every connection, the smallest of the small to the biggest of the big that he had, to contact that person. And when he contacted that person, we'll all be surprised to know that he went there and convinced him on his idea and asked him to invest his personal money in this company for him to be a mentor. So it's the other way around. You're not going there, giving him the stocks and asking him to mentor you. This person managed to go there and present to the CEO of Coffee Day, who didn't know at all before this, and convince him to invest about 10 lakh rupees in his company and start mentoring. So things like that can happen. There are examples all around on compensation, no compensation, and things like that and all. Okay. And the last one is please acknowledge mentoring. Which I do always, because I think that's one of the best things that can happen to entrepreneurs. Everything else can be managed. Like I didn't know hiring, I didn't know setting up teams, I didn't know managing a brand. I didn't know any of these. Mentors at every stage have helped me learn all these, pass through this successfully and all. So, and I say whatever we are because of that. So talk about it, let there be more mentors. Let there be more mentoring, and let that culture set in for the betterment of entrepreneurship here. Okay, so that's all I have. Thank you. This is the quote that I have.